On this week's show, we recap the beginning of the school year with footage from House Olympics. Chisom Ilogu sits down with our 13th headmaster, Stephen Murray, and I go inside the construction site of the new Kirby Math and Science Center. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins now. Coming to you from the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is L10 with Ghael Fobes. Hello and welcome to a new season here on L10. We have a full show in store, but first, the headlines. Yesterday, the International Program Fair occurred during lunch. Faculty trip leaders spoke to students interested in traveling in the spring or summer. Possible destinations include Ecuador, Greece, Japan, and many more. Last Saturday, girls varsity field hockey had their first game of the season against Princeton High School. Lexi Grossman scored both goals with an assist from Chloe Jones each time. With only a few minutes to spare, the PHS team attempted to make a comeback, scoring once, but ultimately the score was Lawrenceville 2, Princeton High School 1. Club night will take place tomorrow inside the Fieldhouse. There are over 160 clubs, ranging from Doctors Without Borders to Young Food Critics of America. You can sign up for all the clubs, including us here at L10, so be sure to go. Congratulations to fifth formers Neil Ajarabu, Jinwan Cho, Connor Dewan, Sophie Garrett, Matthew Katz, and Richard Wang, as they are the semifinalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program. Nationwide, the pool of semifinalists represents less than 1% of U.S. high school seniors. On Saturday, September 5th, the 11 Circle and Crescent houses participated in the 12th Annual House Olympics.
For generations before you, Laurentians have come from the farthest corners of the world to participate in these hallowed games. We begin today with the roll call of houses, starting with Hamill.
And then reigning champs, Stanley!
Stanley, go, Stanley, go!
Is Stevens in the house? How about the gentlemen of Woodhull?
On the limit! Tiki, tiki, tonga! Tiki, tiki, tonga!
And is Griswold in the house?
Can I hear from Cleve?
C-L-E-V-H-O-U-S-E!
Let me hear from McClellan.
M-C-C-H-O-U-S-E, McClellan!
And how about Carter? Let me hear from Kirby.
Kirby's gonna rock it! No one's gonna stop it!
And where are the men of Dickinson? And finally, Kennedy.
K-E-N-N-E-D-Y! Circle K will never die!
Please make way for your student body president, James Stevenson.
Let the games begin!
The houses competed in events including tug of war, potato sack races, ball hop, and it all culminated in the final tricycle relay. In the end, the Woodhull house was victorious. As we've kicked off the school year, many of us have enjoyed the brand new bathhouse. We tracked its renovations with our reports before and after, and as you see in this time lapse. But as you are all well aware, there's a much larger project now underway in the heart of our school. I am here inside the big crater in the ground. This is where the basement of the Kirby Math and Science building. This is where it's going to be. The demolition is far underway, and I got a chance to talk to Kevin Lysick, the senior project manager of this project. We talked about the construction, the sustainability of this building, and what some of its key features are going to be.
There was a wrecking ball on site, but they used actually a crane. Actually had pinchers at the end of it. It looks like a bucket, but it pinches and it breaks up the steel at the same time as the concrete itself. And then what they'll do is the demolition crew, they'll start from the inside, work their way out. They'll literally take the machine and they'll pick it apart and move those items side to side. So they make a pile of steel, pile of concrete, pile of glass, pile of this. Every bit of it will be recycled, from the steel to the concrete.
And this is about as deep as it's going to get.
That's correct. You're looking at the bottom line of it right now.
Do you know around what point we're going to see meaningful bricks being laid?
It's a little bit early to tell right now, but based on the schedule, we're looking at around November-ish is when you'll start seeing it coming out of the ground.
And this is set to open in August.
That's correct.
So how big is the new math building going to be?
So it'll be exactly that width, it'll be exactly that height, and then come out. It'll be a 3-story building.
Yeah.
So you're aware that 3 stories includes the basement. So the top 2, first and second floor.
I heard that it's going to have something like that. It's perpendicular to like every other building. Didn't they work on something like that?
That's correct. So the angle is not true a 90-degree angle coming out of this side.
Yeah.
It'll actually kind of jet out this side on an angle, so it then focuses this way.
Okay.
There'll be a courtyard as well.
Okay.
So the first floor has 7 classrooms in it.
Yeah.
The second floor will have 6 classrooms plus an advanced teacher lounge.
Do you know what the biggest challenge is going to be?
The wintertime. You never know what the wintertime brings as far as the seasons. It's an obvious problem that we'll have during that time because we're putting concrete in the ground. Then all the structure has to be built during the temperatures. Hopefully we'll have a nice winter, but we don't know what the projection is at that point. But that's always causing a dilemma.
In August, we'll get to see the results and we'll be here. Last Thursday, Chisom Ilogu had our first on-camera interview with Lawrenceville's 13th headmaster, Stephen Murray, from inside the newly renovated foundation house.
I understand you've attended Phillips Exeter Academy and you've worked at several other private schools prior to coming to Lawrenceville. What have you always liked about the private school culture?
Well, as a young public school kid from New Jersey, going off to Exeter as a new junior, I was an upper there. I think I probably liked the freedom and the independence and the academic rigor were all appealing to me. It was a great challenge, it was a great move, it changed the whole trajectory of my life, actually.
Do you have any personal goals for yourself here at Lawrenceville?
Yeah, I want to be reasonably effective. I want to know the students and I want to be a presence in their lives, so I need to figure that out. It takes a lot to manage and run the school, and so I do need to be in other kinds of meetings, and I've got other demands on my time, but I'm trying to carve up my days and my weeks so that I have set aside time to have contact with students. So having people into my home is one way of doing that. Coming to watch games and see practices is another way of doing that. And things like that talk I gave in assembly last, I guess it was last Friday. I like doing that sort of a thing. It's part of how I can show my humor and another side of me which students might not quite know, and so periodically I hope to be able to do that sort of thing as well. So one goal is to have the students have a connection to me and me to them, and I do want to, with a longer range view in mind, put some kind of an imprint on the school that is consistent with what Lawrenceville is, what I guess I would say, which is consistent with an enduring notion of Lawrenceville, not something that is new for the sake of being new. I want to take time to understand what is at the heart and soul of this school. So if we were to do building projects, if we were to tackle the field house, which needs work, I want to do those things that are in a way that's distinctive, that's well done, but fits with Lawrenceville's traditions and history.
Was Lawrenceville's tradition and history one of the things that you were a bit wary of when you were looking to the school? Did you feel like you had any sort of pressure coming into an environment that has so much history behind it?
That's a great question. I don't know if I would say I felt a pressure. I might say that I felt a responsibility to understand the history and the traditions and respect them. I don't, at the same time, want to be bound by history and tradition. The history and tradition are a very rich part of what the school is. It's part of the identity. It's part of the experience of coming as a new student. So you're part of a legacy of rigorous academics, of high achievement, of integrity, and I think I use this word a lot, I think it's in the woodwork of the school. And that's very important, and you can't contrive that, and Lawrenceville just has it quite naturally, so I wouldn't want to tinker with that, I would want to enhance that, maybe even enhance students' awareness of that, and their responsibility to live up to and respect that, and institutions that are only bound by the past or stuck to the past and don't know how to move forward will wither. So the challenge is to be true to your traditions, have them be a positive part of the life of the school, and evolve forward. The school that alums knew in the 1990s in the school that they knew in the 60s and the 30s and at the turn of the century, and we're very different schools. Lawrenceville didn't sit still in its history, and it can't now sit still. So it is very important to have a forward-looking lens on, even while you're aware of your traditions and respect them.
Thank you, Chisom. That is our show as we kick off a new season. From all of us here at L10, thank you so much for watching. Good night.